Okay. If a piece of fossilized wood was found in Precambrian rock,
right,
you would then say, oh, it must have been put in here by some other method, by faulting or crack, burial.
This is a very interesting
thing. Is that right, Jared?
No, it depends on... Okay, hold on. Let's be very clear. If you found a piece of wood fossilized into the rock in the same way that... in such a way that it would indicate that it was actually part of the rock layer...
Okay.
That would falsify the entire theory of evolution.
Okay, well, Jared, we've got a very interesting situation then. If this is true, if I show you the documentation, will you then give up on this evolution thing?
If you meet the criteria that I set forth, I will declare to you and the rest of the world that the theory of evolution is completely wrong. And
what
so
is the criteria?
By the way.
Well, go ahead and give us the criteria.
You would have to show me a species, be it plant or animal, fossilized in a layer that is incompatible with the theory.
Well, hold on. What do you mean by incompatible? Because I'm
giving you so many options.
Hold on a second. I've already said that they've shown that stratigraphic leaking occurs. You can find pollen in layers that would previously been called incompatible, but now you can say it's compatible because it fell down a crack.
But they've always got an out.
Yeah, you can always find a way out. So now tell me something specifically.
Not always. No. If you found a human skull fossilized in Ordovician rock, that would falsify the theory.
Where did they find the Laetoli footprints at?
What?
Human footprints.
Laetoli footprints found in the ash in Africa, or Laetoli, Africa. What layer was that in? 3.75 million years old. What era would that be, Jared?
That predates the Australopithecines. I
think that would be either Silurian or Ordovician. I'm not quite sure. My knowledge is...
Now, do human footprints 3.7 million years ago falsificate evolution for you?
If you could show that they were human footprints, and you could show that they were that old, of course.
Okay, well, what do we have to...
I'm giving you... Hold on.
Well, what do we have to do to show the human footprints? If they look like human footprints, is that enough?
That's the issue, is like they could look like human footprints and not be human footprints. And
well, that's the whole situation.
Falsify this evidence, and it's
with
not
the
very
geologic
clear.
column.
Okay, I think Jared's sincere, and he does research. Jared, I think it was National Geographic, ran the article by Russell Tuttle, University of Chicago.
Yeah.
Went to a tribe of people that never wear shoes, never have worn shoes.
Right.
He tested their footprints. He had these people walk through the mud and run through the mud and trot and skip and everything else through the mud.
Can you spell his name?
What? Tuttle, T-U-T-T-L-E.
Okay.
Russell Tuttle, University of Chicago, studied the footprints of people today that never wear shoes. Mm-hmm. And he made casts of them and did analysis of them. Then he did casts of the Laetoli footprints, which are supposed to be 3.75 million years old. Russell Tuttle then said...
How many years?
3.75 million. Okay?
Oh, well, that's old enough to be some other kind of primate or something.
Well, that's before Australopithecines. I think those are, 2 million or something?
Well, I don't know. I know that the common ancestor between chimps and humans is supposedly 6 or 7 million years ago. So
well, then you're going to have to hold the position that the foot never evolved.
I don't know. I'm just saying that this is not very clear falsifying evidence.
That's fine. You can say this is within primate time, but if you want to go that route, then you have to hold the position that the human foot has not evolved for 4 million years.
Well, wait, let me give you the references to go for. National Geographic, April 1979, when the footprints were found, okay? Mary Leakey did an article called Footprints in the Ashes of Time. And I just have a few select quotes from this article, but you can read the whole thing. It's on page 446 to 457, 9-page article. The footprints are described as remarkably similar to those of modern man. Quote,
right.
The form of his foot was exactly the same as ours, is a quote. Weight-bearing pressure patterns in the prints resemble human ones. Footprints so very much like our own. Mary Leakey describes these footprints found in Laetoli 3.75 million years ago in Tanzania, Africa, as exactly like humans today. So, Russell Tuttle, T-U-T-T-L-E, University of Chicago, did a very extensive study of the Laetoli footprints, as well as studying 70 people that habitually go barefoot. He said, and I quote, the 3.5 million-year-old footprint trails at Laetoli Site G resemble those of habitually unshod modern humans. None of their features suggests that the Laetoli hominids were less capable bipeds than we are. Continue here, he says. If the Laetoli footprints were not known to be so old, we would readily conclude they were made by a member of our own genus.
Right.
If we didn't know better, we would think a human made them.
Yeah,
This is from an article by Russell Tuttle called The Pitted Pattern of Laetoli Feet, Natural History, March 1990, page 64.
And what was the publication that was published in?
Natural History, I believe it's Museum of Natural History, New York. I need to get that. 1990, is there a magazine called Natural History, or was there in 1990? Natural History. I guess you could do a Google search on Russell Tuttle.
I'll try to find it. That's fine. Okay, so I'll look that up.
Well, here's Tuttle saying, the footprints look exactly like humans, but they're too old.
Yep.
So they can't be human. This is an example of how your geologic column is a hindrance to intelligent research.
Okay, look, this is contentious, but it's not quite of the character that I'm trying to talk about. I'm talking about, for instance, if all goes well, I'm going to join Martin on a paleontology dig in Canada in about 4 days.
Wonderful.
Okay, and the rock that we're looking at is, I believe, Lower Carboniferous, Mississippian.
How do you know that?
Well, that's what he told me.
Okay.
I haven't been there yet.
How does he know that?
Supposedly, that's what it is. Okay.
Okay.
And so I'm going to go ahead and tell you now. This is sort of a joke between me and Martin, but it's actually somewhat serious too. I'm going to go there with the intent of falsifying evolution.
No, that's wrong, man.
I hope that I find a mammal in that layer. Because if I find like a squirrel skeleton or something in this Carboniferous rock, I'm going to be mega famous.
If you find a whole skeleton in any rock, I will buy you Easter eggs. I mean,
just finding whole skeletons is pretty rare, but no, a lot of them exist. I mean, thousands of them found.
If I found any evidence of mammalian life in that layer, I'm world famous instantly.
No, what'll happen is they'll take away your funding, your grant money.
There's no funding, Kent. I'm going up there on my own money.
Okay. If you publish an article, it won't. First of all, it won't be published because it goes against evolution.
Martin already promised me that he would do everything in his power to help me get it published.
Sure. Well, you wait till you see the red tape you're going to run into when you try to publish an article that goes against the theory.
It's fine. I mean, look at it.
There are people. And I hope that we discover that there's a conspiracy and that I defeat it.
Well, hold on. Listen to this.
You won't defeat it.
You're not going to be the first person out here doing this. Like we just said, there are human footprints 3.75 million years old, which is already unacceptable. They have to say that it belonged to some previous hominid that had the same foot as us.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Jonathan, is that kind of evidence is just fishy enough, just kind of like borderline enough.
Fishy? When did modern man appear?
Okay, look, I'm talking about mammals appearing before the evolution of reptiles.
This already,
that is impossible.
This already, if you're going to take evolution seriously, then a modern human footprint found almost 4 million years ago is a huge bump.
Maybe the date is wrong. Or maybe it's not quite human. Maybe there's lots of possibilities. But if you find a mammal in Carboniferous rock, there is no possibility of reconciliation at all. You can't have mammals evolving before reptiles.
That wouldn't prove that a mammal evolved before the reptile.
Yes, it would.
No. Oh my goodness. I'm a creationist, and I think I'm more open-minded with evolution than most evolutionists.
Do you not understand the phylogenetic tree here that's involved?
Of course I do. But is the geologic column perfect?
What?
Is a geologic column perfect? If I go out and find a coelacanth 20 feet down, does that prove that it evolved after the dinosaurs?
No, you're confusing this.
No, hold on a second. You're saying the placement proves when it came into existence. Is that what you're saying? Where we find it proves where it comes into existence?
I'm trying to explain this. One direction is hard to argue. The other direction is not. This is why whenever I argue with you before about trilobites and how if they came around nowadays, it'd be hard to explain. And then I kind of recanted that and said it would be just slightly hard to explain. Mm-hmm. But if you found a human skull in Cambrian rock, that would be impossible to explain.
Mm-hmm.
That's the truth. You can't have something found in a rock layer so far below its ancestors that it just completely goes against the theory.
I guess you can just report us to your findings.
Well, I'm very glad you're at least that open. I mean, most are not. And let me tell you, if you find it, and you may if you look long enough, okay, something that invalidates the geologic column, you will no longer be able to publish in respected science journals. You will be ostracized. You will never get grant money. Your name will be mud. This has happened to hundreds of people down through the years.
According to Richard Dawkins, I would overturn the entire theory overnight.
I think they love saying that, but there have been tons of things that are supposed to do this, and they never do.
Yeah, but the people that discover these things supposedly are, like, really incredible.
All right. We're back after the break. Researchers found several types of dinosaur and were surprised to find frog. End of the program. New Scientist magazine, February 24 of 01. We'll get to that tomorrow. Thanks a lot, folks. Bye-bye.